Assalamualaikum. Today I am going to explain the chapter number 7 of class 12th English book, that is a short story entitled The Sniper, written by Liam O'Flaherty. The Sniper is a short story written by Liam O'Flaherty. Sniper word is a noun. It is derived from the verb snipe. Many nouns are derived from verbs by adding alphabets er, like read plus er, reader. Read is a verb, reader is a noun. Write, writer. Help, helper. Drive, driver. Play, player. Sing, singer. Dance, dancer. Speak, speaker. Likely, snipe, sniper. Snipe means to attack from a hidden position. So sniper is a person who attacks from a hidden position. Sniper usually hides at a place where he is able to see others, especially the passers-by. But the others and the passers-by are not able to see the sniper. A sniper is usually armed with weapons like pistol, Kalashnikov, rifle, grenade, etc. The objective of hiding is to attack with more precision. So the sniper means a person who hides himself at a place where he is able to see others, but others are not able to see him, and while he is armed with weapons, and the objective is to attack the passers-by or the enemies or other people. This is a short story. The short story is set in Dublin. Dublin is the capital city of Ireland. In Ireland, a civil war broke in 1919. It lasted up to 1922. The civil war broke between the Republicans and the Free Staters. The civil war broke in 1919 between the Republicans and the Free Staters. Why did the civil war break out? The Free Staters was a separatist group operating in Ireland. They wanted independence from Ireland. They wanted to cut Northern Ireland from the rest of the Ireland. They wanted Northern Ireland to be an independent country, but the mainstream politics or mainstream administration or the Republicans were not in favor of giving independence to the Northern Ireland. They want all the regions of the Ireland to remain united. That's why a civil war broke out between these two groups, between the Republicans and the Free Staters. This short story is set in Dublin during the same period. That civil war had a lot of ugly incidents, a lot of ugly offshoots. This short story, The Sniper, portrays one of the ugly incidents of that civil war which broke between the Republicans and the Free Staters from 1919 to 1922. The Republican sniper is the central character in this short story. The whole story revolves around the Republican sniper. The story begins like this. It was the month of June. Long twilight means evening faded into night. Every evening is followed by night. Naturally, in June, evenings are longer. So after the long June evening, night came. There was a complete darkness in the city of Dublin and the waters of the Liffey. The Liffey is the name of the river that flows through Dublin. Just like Gallam flows through the city of Srinagar, the Liffey River flows through the city of Dublin. There was a complete darkness in the city of Dublin and the waters of the Liffey, both symbolically as well as physically. There was a pale moonlight. Why pale moonlight? Why not full moonlight? Because the moon was partially covered with clouds. The pale moonlight was just like the early light of the dawn. Four Courts is a place in the heart of the Dublin city. It was a Billigard area. Four Courts was a Billigard area. Billigard means a lot of army was posted there. Around the Four Courts, fighting was constant. Every day, every night, fights broke out between the two groups, between the Republicans and the Free Staters. Fighting had become a routine practice. It had become a sort of custom, like dogs that bark every day, every night. Fighting had also become a constant feature. The silence of the nights was suddenly, spasmodically broken by by machine guns, by firing, grenades, by blasts. Why? Because the Republicans and Free Staters were waging a civil war. On the rooftop of a building was a Republican sniper. The Republican sniper, he was on his duty. From his face, he was looking like a student. His face was thin and ascetic. Ascetic means he had abandoned the world, the worldly pleasures. And his eyes were deep, and from his eyes he was looking like a fanatic, a bigot, hardal, a person who does not change his point of view, who does not change his opinion. He had a rifle and a telescope with him. He was on his duty. His eyes were deep and thoughtful. His eyes were the eyes of a person who had seen many people dying from his side and from the other side, from the enemy side as well. He was eating a sandwich hungrily. Why hungrily? Because he had eaten nothing since morning. He finished the sandwich. He took a bottle from his flask and he took a draught, probably of wine or alcohol. You know, people like the sniper who are not sure about the safety of their lives usually take alcohol or wine just to stay calm, just to relax themselves. You know, those kinds of people are tense. They're tense, so to keep themselves calm, to stay calm, they usually drink alcohol or wine. Then he began to think whether he should smoke a cigarette or not. Why he thought? Because smoking a cigarette in the darkness was a dangerous act, because he knew he was surrounded by his enemies. The flash of the cigarette might be seen by his enemies. After a while, he decided to take the risk. He put a cigarette between his lips, he struck a match, lit his cigarette, inhaled the smoke. As soon as he inhaled the smoke, there was a fire. The sniper took another whiff and he put out the cigarette, he extinguished the cigarette, then he crawled towards his left side. That means he changed his position. That means the sniper was a skillful person. He was a knowledgeable person. He changed his position as he realized that he had been spotted by his enemies. He crawled towards his left side. From the left side, he raised himself. He tried to locate for the source of the fire, the place from which the fire had come. There was another fire, and a blood passed over his head. A blood whizzed over his head. The sniper dropped again. He had seen that flash. He located the source of the flash. He located the place from where the fire had come. It had come from the opposite side of the building. The sniper again changed his position. He sort of slept on the roof. He rolled his body over and over towards the back part of the rooftop. Towards the rear part of the rooftop was a chimney stack. He came behind that chimney stack. He raised until his eyes were level over the parapet. He looked across. But there was nothing to be seen. Just the dim outline of the opposite house. That means his enemy was under cover. His enemy was also a sniper. Just then an armored car came from the bridge. The armored car stopped at the opposite side of the building, on the rooftop of which was the Republican sniper. The Republican sniper's heart beat faster. Why? Because that armored car was an enemy car. The Republican sniper wanted to fire that armored car, but he knew firing at the armored car was useless. He knew his bullets are not going to pierce that grey monster. The armored car has been referred by the phrase the grey monster. Grey, color grey. Monster means ugly, badru. The sniper wanted to fight that armored car, that grey monster, but he knew firing at the grey monster, that armored car, was useless. His bullets were not going to cause any damage to that armored car. Just then an old woman came from one of the side streets. She began to talk to the man in the armored car. She was pointing towards the roof where the Republican sniper lay. That means she was an informer. After a short while, the turret of the car opened, and from the turret of the car appeared a man's head and his shoulders. The sniper took his rifle. He aimed at the man who had appeared from the turret of the armored car. He fired, and the fire hit the man as his head fell heavily on the turret wall. The woman began to run towards the side street. The sniper fired the second time, and the fire again hit the old woman, as was obvious by the fact that the woman began to whirl round and round, and finally she fell into a gutter, into a drain, with a curse. But suddenly there was a fire from the opposite roof, and the sniper dropped his rifle from his hands. He tried to pick the rifle up, but he couldn't pick the rifle up. Now he realized that he had been hit by a bullet. He sat down. He was not feeling any pain, but just a deadening sensation, as if the arm had been cut off. Blood was oozing through the sleeve of his coat. He took a knife from his pocket. He ripped open the sleeve of his coat, and he felt his injured right forearm. He saw from the one side there was a hole, on the other side there was no hole. That means the blood had lodged in the wound. That blood might have fractured the bone. Was the bone fractured or not? To see this, the sniper bent his arm. He could easily bend his arm, so he concluded that his bone had not been fractured by the bullet. Now he began to feel a lot of pain, a paroxysm of pain. He crawled back towards the parapet. He lay against the parapet. He took his field dressing. Field dressing is a sort of first aid packet which contains bandage, iodine, cotton, tape, etc. He took the iodine bottle, he broke the neck of the iodine bottle, and he poured the bitter iodine fluid into the wound. He was feeling a lot of pain. He began to feel a lot of pain, as was obvious by the fact that he ground his teeth to overcome the pain. He placed cotton over his wound, W-O-U-N-D, wound. Another word, W-O-U-N-D, is wound. That is second form of wind. But W-O-U-N-D, wound. Wound, okay? It means injury. Zakhm. He placed cotton over his wound and wrapped a bandage over the cotton, and he tied the ends of the bandage with the help of his teeth. Then he lay still for some time against the parapet wall. And he was planning escape. He thought in his heart of hearts that he must leave that roof before the following morning. But leaving that place was not an easy task because he was covered by his enemy. He was watched by his enemy. His enemy would not let him go easily. So he must kill his enemy before leaving that place. He made an effort of will to overcome the pain. He nursed his poor arm and he made a plan. A plan flashed across his mind. What he did, he took his cap off his head, he placed the cap over the muzzle of his rifle. He raised the rifle above the edge of the parapet until it was visible from the opposite building, from the rooftop of the opposite building. As soon as the cap was visible from the rooftop of the opposite building, there was a fire and the fire hit the cap. The sniper slanted the rifle forward. The cap fell into the street. Then the sniper grasped the rifle in the middle and let his left hand hang as if he was dead. After a while, after a short moment, he dropped the rifle from his hand. The rifle also fell onto the street. He dragged himself, his body, towards the rooftop. So the sniper, the Republican sniper, gave his enemy the impression that this is me. The cap on the muzzle of the rifle is me. And the enemy sniper was also highly skillful, a trained person, because he hit the center of the cap by just one try, one shot. The Republican sniper then crawled toward the other corner, other area of the rooftop. That means like changing his position again and again. Then he looked across and he felt happy. Why he felt happy? Because his ruse had succeeded, his trick had succeeded. Until now his enemy was under cover. He had hidden himself. Now the enemy had come out of his cover. He was standing in front of the rooftop. It was clearly visible to the Republican sniper against the western sky. The Republican sniper smiled. He took his revolver. His right forearm was injured. He took his revolver. He had his left hand to shoot at his enemy. It was a difficult shot for many reasons. Number one, it was darkness. Number two, his right arm was injured. He was not able to fire with his natural arm, with his right arm. So it was a difficult shot. He took a deep breath through his nostrils. He took a steady aim and he fired. After the smoke cleared, when there is a fire, 2 or 3 or 4 things happen simultaneously. As soon as the blood comes from the pistol or from the rifle, there is a flash and smoke also comes out and the gun or the pistol recoils. When the smoke cleared, the Republican sniper uttered a cry of joy. He felt happy, he cried. Why? Because he had been successful in hitting his enemy. His enemy was reeling in death agony. The enemy's rifle fell from his hands into the street. Then the enemy fell down. His body turned round and round in space and finally hit the ground with a dull thud, with a faint sound. The Republican sniper saw all this. Initially he felt happy, but when he saw his enemy falling, dying, collapsing, he began to feel guilty. He began to feel remorseful. The lust of battle died in him. He began to gibber to himself. He began to talk to himself. He cursed himself. He cursed his society. He cursed war. He cursed everybody. He took his revolver and with an oath he threw the revolver to the rooftop. There was another fire and a blood whizzed past over his head. The sniper came back to his senses. For a moment he had become complacent, but again he came back to his senses. He picked his revolver, he laughed. Now he decided that it was the right time to leave that rooftop. He came down through the skylight. Skylight is the window of the rooftop. He came through the skylight. When he reached the street level, on the side street, he was ready to go. But now he felt a certain curiosity. He felt a certain curiosity if he knew the man whom he had killed. If he knew the enemy sniper whom he had killed. Because it was possible that before the Civil War, before the split, they might have been working in the same unit of the army. He felt a certain curiosity that he should have a look at the enemy, at the dead enemy sniper. Because the Republican sniper had realized that the enemy sniper was also a trained, a skillful person. He looked around, everything was quite normal. Towards the upper part of the street was heavy fighting was going on, but here everything was quite normal. He trotted across the street. As soon as he began to trot across the street, there was a machine gun fired a hail of bullets, a number of bullets. But none of the bullets hit the sniper. In fact, the bullets tore the ground around the sniper. And when the sniper reached, he reached to the dead body of the enemy whom he had killed, he threw himself downwards, face downwards. He turned the dead body of the enemy sniper and looked that it was none other than his brother.